Hello world, Wendy from Cali here, back with another Mixed Manny chat. Manny by number, I am so far behind. We're already in December and I have more than half to go. Well, half to go, but half to go. Today I am doing Feeling Magical because why not? I'm so behind. That should have been done in October, I feel like. It's got October Halloween vibes there with the little witchy cat, but I am gonna do it. Feeling magical. Whenever I think of magic, I think of stars. And so these stars, lucky stars, and wishing stars are gonna go over Power Suit, which was a set that came in one of the Color Play sub boxes. I already have OPI Natural Nail Strengthener and Ridge Filling Nail Primer. I put all that on before I ended up making meatloaf cupcakes, so my hands are a little bit dry from all the hand washing, but I didn't want to use lotion because I knew I was going to do my nails. So here we are. But if you're watching this channel for the first time, welcome. My name is Wendy, born and raised in California, so hence Wendy from Cali. I just do nail videos, mostly. These are my vlogs, my video logs of life. So if you're into that, watching me do my nails, and chit-chatting about my life, keep watching. Otherwise, there's plenty of other content out there for you to peruse and enjoy. So feel free to find it. But yes, for those that are staying, I haven't had a chance to use Power Suit, but it looked magical to me. Look at that. It's like a smoky, bluish, navy blue color, midnight blue color. And I felt like that fit the sky. Or at least it feels like a dark, starry sky. And then, of course, adding the stars will help. Oh man, it's been busy. So I've been waiting for my Color Street orders to come in. Thanksgiving has come and gone. With Thanksgiving, Color Street typically has their little Black Friday deals. They also had an amazing deal for those that are subscribed to their Color Play Club, where a bunch of sets that were released in Color Play Club boxes or envelopes or whatever you want to call them were on sale. They were like $5 each, which was amazing. But there was like a glitch. And luckily I was paying attention to the Facebook chat and heard about the glitch, and my order went in on time before Color Street fixed that glitch. So I basically got $5 sets at a buy 3 get 1 free. So needless to say, that was an amazing price. And I was able to get some of the Color Play Club sets that I really enjoyed, that I've already worn before and really love. That's the one good thing about the Color Play Club, is that you get a value of, 4 to 5 sets each month. The thing is, if you want to, you can have your Color Street stylist share with you like sneak peeks or whatever. I, on the other hand, love to be surprised. I don't want a sneak peek. I want to do my first impression videos, as those of you who follow this channel and watch my videos know. I like trying to avoid any spoilers until I get my own Color Play Club envelope in the mail, and then I am able to do my first impressions unveiling or opening the envelope on this channel. So there have been a lot of times where the sets, like first impressions, I'm not gonna lie, they were like whatevs to me. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. But then you try them on and they're like, holy smokes, really awesome sets. And then there are other times where you think a set looks so amazing on the white backing, but then when you put it on, it's underwhelming. Is that even a word? So can't judge a book by its cover. You will, however, see me judge it with my first impressions always. And I may not get a chance to wear them all right away, but eventually I do get around to it, like this power suit. So that's where we're at. Here we are. I had other nails on, so we finally, as a family, put up the Christmas decorations at Mama Carla's house. The Rents, my parents. Panda and I don't really celebrate Christmas in that way here in our household, so we don't put up any Christmas decorations or anything like that. However, our house ends up looking like Santa's workshop, with all the gifts for family and all of that, purchased and wrapped here or at my office, which is my plan for this year, is to bring some of the gifts to the office with me so that I can wrap there where there is way more room. And plus I have to ship off some of the presents to my sister's family in Utah. So it kind of is a win-win already having that stuff over at the office where I ship it out. So that's the plan. But we decorated on Sunday, and there's Christmas lights out in front of the house, and we've got the tree up. And that day I taught the girls how to bake bread from scratch. I taught them how to make deviled eggs. I taught them how to make hot cocoa from scratch. And I made homemade whipped cream for the hot cocoa. The littlest one, Malika, wanted marshmallow fluff. So luckily, Panda Bear brought some with him when he ran errands and came back. And yeah, it was a good time to be had. The bread that I made, Mama Carla turned it into this toasted bread that has butter, cinnamon, sugar. So yummy. Absolutely delicious. And everyone enjoyed that with the hot cocoa. They were watching Home Alone. It was just very festive. Absolutely loved it. The girls have been wondering when the Elf on the Shelf would show back up, because a couple years ago the Elf on the Shelf made an appearance. When we were at Universal Studios over the Thanksgiving holiday, we actually had seen a girl with the Elf on the Shelf in her arms. And I was like, oh my God, that girl totally kidnapped the Elf on the Shelf. She's touching it. All the magic's gone. Like, what? And so we were all having like a good laugh over that. And they're like, no, hopefully he can escape and, he might show up. So, needless to say, all of their wishing and hoping and all that good stuff conjured up the Elf on the Shelf. And I will share a photo of that in my Facebook group with y'all. Elf on the Shelf showed back up with a sign that says, I am back. And where was he? He was hanging out in Mama Carla's stocking that we hung up over the weekend. So that's interesting. That's an interesting place to choose to sit. And I'm wondering if it's because he is the scout, not only for Santa, but he is a scout for Mama Carla to make sure that the girls are behaving. So this year, actually, the girls have been really good. Kids will be kids. There's always the naughty and the nice all year long. But as long as the nice outweighs the naughty, that will keep them off Santa's naughty list. So yeah, we've been homeschooling the girls since August and doing a great job, I feel. So one of the girls, she's 4th grade level based on age, but her reading level was like kindergarten level, maybe even pre-kindergarten level. And using some tools, education.com, Nessie, the Florida Institute, I'm not quite sure. I'd have to ask Panda again what program he had purchased online, but there's some sort of reading program that he had purchased online for Mama Carla to work with both Amalika, who's now 7, and Allison, to get to the right level, reading level that they ought to be at. And they're doing great. Allison's now at like 2nd grade level when it comes to her reading, and that is totally awesome. And they're doing an amazing job learning about the different body systems for my science lessons. So that's what I've been teaching them. We started off with circulatory, respiratory, worked our way through the nervous system, muscular, skeletal, what else? I need to make a quiz. I've been giving them pop quizzes every week after their lessons on what they learned on the previous week. And Lilith has been doing amazing. Not 100% yet, but she is getting there. She is really grasping a lot of the concepts, and it's just great to see them thrive in an environment where they're given more personal attention. And we are tailoring some of their lessons to basically conquer any challenges that they have. So every person's different, every child's different, and we're at the point where we are almost done with first quarter and putting together our little report cards, progress reports, and all that good stuff to provide them feedback on what they can focus on in the next quarter. So I've been having a lot of fun. So I make my own pop quizzes from scratch. A lot of the times I will use images from the worksheets that we use, most of them from education.com, but I will edit the photos so that, if there were labels there, I would delete the labels and have the girls fill in the blanks, or do match. One column has a listing of all the different body parts or organs or whatnot, and then the other has a description of that organ or body part, and then they'll draw a line and match it up. So things like that. Also identifying different things. We had one lesson on the skeletal system where Mama Carla actually joined in, and we were having discussions on what she calls the street name for the bones versus the actual textbook name for the bone. So for example, the clavicle is your collarbone, those kinds of things. And so I built that into the pop quiz for the girls because let's see who was paying attention and who actually wrote down those notes when Auntie said to write them in when we were discussing it. And the girls did really well. It was nice to see that. And they're really taking to the home economics lessons. I started those just recently. On Friday was the first like official lessons. I had brought recipes for a chocolate cupcake and a vanilla cupcake. We were also going to make Muddy Buddies. One of the girls is not a fan of peanut butter, so we also made a Muddy Buddies alternative recipe that didn't use peanut butter, instead used instant vanilla pudding mix. So that did come from a box. Couldn't avoid that one really, but you know, gotta oblige to cater to the kids and their tastes. But before we even baked the cupcakes, what we did is we sat down and read through the recipes together, teaching them the difference between TSP, TBSP, so, you know, teaspoon, tablespoon, showing them how 1 teaspoon, about 3 teaspoons fits into 1 tablespoon, just showing them the difference of that, and how mg, a milligram, is 1,000 of those to fit into 1 gram. So, you know, making it a little bit of a math lesson to go with the home ec. But we made all the cupcakes from scratch, the frosting from scratch, the Muddy Buddies, all of that. Here is Power Suit, just showing you the end result before we move and add stars. But that was all mostly to distract them because I took a half day off of work to babysit them so that Mama Carla could have an outpatient procedure done. And because Uncle, or who I lovingly call Panda or Pandy, as of recent, had to drive Mama Carla to her appointment for that surgery, I was in charge of babysitting, and I wanted to make sure that the girls were thoroughly distracted so that they wouldn't ask, when's mom gonna come home, and worry that she was, you know, getting this outpatient surgery procedure done. They actually finished really early. We ended up, our baking was taking a long time because, one, I wanted to go over all of those lessons with the girls to ensure that they were understanding the recipes before we actually did the baking part of it. And Mama Carla's oven is like on its last leg or something. So to get 300 or 350 degrees, we have to set the oven at like 400 degrees. And so knowing that, you have to make the appropriate adjustments. So the chocolate cupcakes came out well as far as moisture and texture. The vanilla cupcakes were supposed to be tender and moist, but they ended up being a little more on the thicker and dry side. It could also be because cupcake recipes typically ask for vegetable oil or canola oil, but this family here, we are trying to avoid PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs. So instead of vegetable oil or canola oil, I use a mixture of butter and applesauce to substitute for that oil. So that also affects, you know, the tenderness of the crumb of the cake, the cupcake itself. And also timing wise, how long you keep it in the oven and whatnot will also affect that. So yeah, that was Friday. And Saturday, because we were over there so late on Saturday was a break. Panda Bear and Pops and I did a 6.5-mile walk in our neighborhood. We walked to Mr. Baguette. If you guys used to watch when the pandemic was happening and I was recording videos, I used to have our journey to health videos, but I've since put those on private only because I worry that folks might take my vlogs as like, oh, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a nurse or anything like that. So anything that we did it under supervision of Panda Bear, who did a lot of research and knows our specific health history and all of that good stuff. So monitored by Panda. But I didn't want folks to comment on all of that, and so I have hidden all of those videos just for me to be able to look back on. But once I abandoned recording those videos, I actually abandoned thinking too much about my health. I know that Panda Bear was very focused on helping my Pops get his health back, so didn't quite have enough focus on myself, and I am horrible at remembering to do things for myself. So needless to say, I've gained some weight since then. The last annual physical I had this year, my doctor even commented on it, and I was like, all right, next time you see me, it'll be a lower weight. So of course, we're getting closer to 2026, and eventually I will need to have my annual physical. So Panda Bear reminded me of what I told my primary care doctor, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to be a liar. I want to be able to show up at my annual physical at a lighter weight than what I was when she weighed me in. So we are back on track with that health journey. I am using, what is the app called? There's this new app I'm using to track my calories in, and I'll have to post it. I'll post it in my Facebook group. But I'm using that right now to help me track. And so far, I've lost 4 pounds. So that's not bad because, Thanksgiving just happened. And if you think about it, most of us gain weight from Thanksgiving. So being down 4 pounds from, not far away from Thanksgiving and heading into Christmas is pretty darn good. So I want to keep up that momentum and just keep at it. I'm definitely going to need to apply some heat on this one because this strip was a little bit hard. Like it was getting dry. It's like it was drying out. So it's going to need a little bit of heat to fix that. But that's okay. Can totally take care of that off camera here. But let's see if we can get the rest of the nails to have stars. The only one that's not going to have stars, it looks like I only have one of these. So if I'm going to do that, I can probably do one thumb with it. And I just realized I squeezed that down, so we're going to have to waste that one. But yeah, Saturday, 6.5 mile walk we did, as well as wait, what did we do Saturday besides the 6.5 mile walk? Was that the day? That was the day. So Panda Bear bought me an early Christmas gift, which was Gardner's Wisconsin cheese. I think that's what it's called. The company is called. And I was able to use the aged Parmesan that came in the box to grate over the homemade pizza that I made for us. And also included in that cheese order was this type of cheese that's like a baked cheese. So you can bake it or you can fry it in a skillet. But basically it's almost like a cheese stick once you cut it up into strips for you to like be able to just eat. And it is absolutely delicious. So we had that. That was like our one meal for the day. Besides, I had made earlier in the week for the rents a sweet potato pie from scratch, which I was originally going to make during Thanksgiving weekend, but our plans had kind of changed, and so I made it during this current week for the rents. And of course, you know, if it's for the rents, we cut a slice for Mama Carla to try. Panda and I had a little bit of that too. But before our walk, we had a little bit of Muddy Buddies and the rest of the sweet potato pie to get us going with energy for that 6.5 mile walk. We had picked up pate from Mr. Baguette because I wanted to use that for egg sammies on the sourdough bread that I was making for Panda. So we ended up doing that on Sunday because I had the sourdough bread. I also had made white bread. That was what I was teaching the girls how to make from scratch, was white bread with the instant active yeast, I should say. And so we did that together. Made the egg sammies with the pate. We had pork and duck pates, which were excellent. Pun intended. And there was just enough sourdough bread to make these egg sammies for the 4 adults. And for the kiddos, they enjoyed eating the deviled eggs. Except for Lilith. Lilith is not a fan of deviled eggs, but she enjoyed having a slice of the sourdough bread, and she had some peanut butter. And so she saved her belly for the breads that her mom was making with the white bread and the hot cocoa. So she also had some snacks, and I can't remember what they had for dinner because I think we had left before they even had dinner. So, alright, so I had to piece together the thumb here because I didn't want to waste, and I also wanted to make sure I had stars. So what's going to happen is I need a top coat on that after I apply some heat to kind of meld those down. But this is the final look. Feeling magical. Definitely with the stars peeking through that dark, moody blue. It does feel magical to me. And we got to color this really quick. So let me just do that really quick. Panda Bear just got home from being over at Mama Carla's to check on the kiddos, and the elf on the shelf showed up while he was there, which I wish I could have seen it, because yeah, I mean, it's the elf on the shelf. Who wouldn't want to see the elf on the shelf? But let's see if the girls are going to be good and not touch him. And let's see what kind of adventures he ends up being on. I hope that they report back to me. I do have my science lessons with them on Thursday, so I will get to go see firsthand what the elf on the shelf is doing. So I can't wait. But I didn't know what color this kitty should have been. And because I was already using black, brown, and this straw yellow, for the broom, I didn't want to use like orange, or originally I was going to use purple, but I feel like purple's not really a color that Stacy Adams is a big fan of. She's the one who has this Manny by number game that we're doing right now going on. So in light of that, I wanted to use colors that fit what she might like. Of course, pink is probably not going to be a fun color for my Sassvent pal Corey, but it's okay. She's not wearing it, so it's all good. Thank you, Handy. Alright, and then speaking of Sassvent, those of you that are participating, how have you been enjoying Sassvent? I am just baffled and amazed at all the sets that Corey has given me. Like, there are sets that are ones that were on my Yumi Who list, my wish list since 2021. Ones that I was like, I am not going to go paying top dollar for some of these sets. These retired unicorn sets sometimes can be triple digits on eBay or in Facebook groups. Once upon a time, when I started using Color Street in 2021, I went down a rabbit hole and researched all of the Color Street sets that were ever released. And I used to keep an Excel spreadsheet for it all. I stopped, I think in 2024 was when I finally stopped doing that, because I was like, I can't. One, I started accumulating way too many sets, so many that I haven't been able to use them all yet, which I used to use them on my nieces along with myself, but my nieces now enjoy more the traditional nail polish. And so if you saw at the beginning of the video, I had an ILNP sticker somewhere on this table here, but I told myself ILNP I'll only buy if there is a color that they release that I'm like obsessed over, and I'll buy it. Otherwise, I'll wait till Black Friday. Black Friday, they usually have their sale, and I'll buy just a curated amount of polishes, because I know my nieces are going to want me to do their nails, which is what I did this weekend. And that is why the previous Manny I had on, I had to take off because it got all messed up when I was doing their nails. But they're Christmas ready, and I am still not ready to full on jump into Christmas, which is why I'm trying to tackle all of these Manny by numbers. So you'll likely see either one, more videos of me doing these, or two, more nail fees in my Facebook group if you're part of my Facebook group, because I'm trying to knock all of these out before the end of December. But yes, Corey's been giving me so many amazing sets and stuff, like nail stuff that I've never heard of before, and I'm super excited. So Pandy came by, if you heard me earlier. He came by with my vitamins, but she gave me this Onsen Secret Nail and Cuticle Conditioner Serum, and oh my gosh, it smells so divine. I like popped it open today because it was part of day 9, and I just had to use it, and it smelled so good. It felt really good on my nails. Of course, now my nails and my cuticles look all jacked up because I've been washing dishes while making the meatloaf cupcakes. And with that said, it's time to go get the grub on and see what Pandy thinks of the meatloaf cupcakes. If you watched this all the way through, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed just listening to me chit chat about life and seeing me do my nails. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and the emoji that you will put in the comments if you haven't already. Go ahead and put witch, broomstick, cat. Those 3 emojis. If you watched all the way through and you have no comment to leave, just by leaving the witch, broom, cat emojis, I know that you watched this all the way through. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys are all having a very wonderful holiday season so far. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.